There's the Charlie Kirk Memorial in Arizona. Yes, I think. It was held in Glendale, Arizona at the State Farm Arena. I don't know why. So we can just watch like a second of this. And it was obviously just like a psychotic MAGA gathering. And it was just like, there's just like a lot of really weird vibes from it, as we could imagine.
That young man.
So she's forgiving him.
I forgive him.
It's the extraordinary moment Charlie Kirk's widow forgives the man charged with his murder.
Like, does this not feel
The answer
a little,
to hate
little fake?
is not hate. The answer we know from the gospel is love, and always love.
36-year-old Erica Kirk was...
Which I feel like it's also super ironic and ridiculous how she's like, the answer is never hate. I'm like, bro, once again, not condoning what happened to him, because I have to say that before every time I talk about this. But your husband spent his whole career spreading hatred for anyone who wasn't exactly like you. So is that not a little hypocritical, girl? I think she's Christian, so I understand that mentality. Yeah, but she's also like hypocritical. Everything. 12 seconds later, Trump said he hated his opponent. Yes, literally. I don't know if it's in here, but the part of the video where like Trump talks about it, he's just like, yeah, I hate my opponents. I hate, and then we've seen this whole thing where he, gets Jimmy Kimmel off air because he didn't even say anything bad, but regardless, and how Trump tweeted out on Truth Social or whatever, how he wants to get all those other late night hosts off the air just because they don't agree. And like, it's a direct attack on free speech. And they clearly do hate their opponents, but okay, let's not, literally the most hateful motherfucker, literally. There's a cost, unfortunately, of several lives a year for the U.S. to have the Second Amendment. Charlie Kirk. Exactly. Crazy. People said way worse. Doesn't mean it's cool to say bad things. What's up with the Musk family, though? Well, Musk and Trump were beefing a while back, and then Musk tweeted, like, BTW, Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, which, like, thanks, We knew that. The sun is hot. Anyways. And then he, redacted it because he was like, I think I went too far. So then they were like beefing for a while. But then they came back together for this Charlie Kirk memorial thing. And Elon like tweeted a picture of them shaking hands. And it was like, for Charlie. And I was like, oh, fucking hell. Oh my God. I think we're dead and in hell. We definitely didn't get raptured, guys. There's being religious and being political. Both can be the same way. Well, I mean, like, America preaches that we have separation of church and state, but literally, like, there's such a large group of people who are trying to impose their religious beliefs on other people. So clearly they don't. Trump was biting his lip. Oh my God, dude, the hug. Did you guys see the hug? Like when Trump hugged Erica, it was, okay, I found the video of it. Okay, it was so odd. It was one of the oddest things I had ever seen. Look, just watch this hug, bro. Like, why does he... The lip bite. Like, what was that? Ugh. It, like, made my skin crawl. It was so, like, uncomfortable. No one is surprised. But it was just one of the many weird-ass things. Oklahoma is trying to demand all schools have a Turning Point USA segment in their curriculum. God, as if American education wasn't already so cooked. We're so cooked. He looks so geriatric. Well, people pointed out that, how Trump used to own all those beauty pageants? And he talked about, like, all those creepy things. Like, he'd, like, walk into, like, Miss Teen USA changing rooms, whatever. Erica Kirk used to be a part of some of the pageants that he owned, that he ran. So they have had quite a history together. Why is he still spray tanning? Maybe he's a New Jersey Italian at heart. I don't know. It's hard to say. But it's just so crazy. Okay, another thing about the Charlie Kirk Memorial that is actually crazy. But it's not actually crazy when you think about it. It's actually like we all could have guessed that. But you guys. So Grindr reported outages that coincided with the Charlie Kirk Memorial on their Arizona servers, like in that area. So what does that mean? So it means like when all these people came upon this place in Arizona, Glendale, Arizona, the Grindr servers were so overloaded that they reported outages. No one is shocked. That always happens during the RNC. Exactly, yeah. So if you guys don't know, and you can look this up, during the RNC, the Republican National Convention, there's always Grindr outages because there's so many like self-hating, closeted, gay, hardcore Republicans. You know, that's why they fight against it so much. But yeah, same thing happens in RNC. Yeah. Which I feel like this is common knowledge if you follow these things, but if you don't, people are so shocked. So I just found it funny. I'm like these people are like, yeah, let's go worship Charlie Kirk, and they're like, cool, that's done now. Time for cock. And then time to go home to my wife and kids. Like, it's crazy. I've never heard of this. Oh my God. I've even heard about, more personal anecdotes about it. Like I've talked to, my roommate, and he's told me about times where he's had, like encounters with men that he'll meet on Grindr, and it turns out they are like married, sometimes even MAGA men. Married, kids, registered Republican, vote that way. He's like even talked to some of them about it, and they just see it as something separate. And I'm like, crazy. Shame on the DNC, they're homophobic. Exactly. Like, get your numbers up, DNC. Why the fuck is the DNC not crashing the Grindr servers? That's true. Kirk, that sounds like something. Oh yeah, let me look for some cock. Yeah. Your roommate not feel scared around them? Well, it's not like he knows. And the thing about like a lot of Grindr meetups, which a lot of them are not safe, honestly. Like, you meet up or agree to meet up with someone with like so little information on them. Sometimes like you don't even have their real name. Sometimes you don't even have their face. They really be risking it out there. So sometimes you don't know until you're like, say, in their apartment, or whatever, and you see like all these things about them and stuff. Kirk and Grindr, it's an all dick weekend. No, this was like EDC for these people. They probably had the time of their fucking life going to the Charlie Kirk. They got all like cult hyped up. Maybe they got horny. They whipped out Grindr. It's poppin'. Everyone understands the assignment. Crazy. Hi, friend to friend. How are you doing? They had to call ambulances because people are having heat strokes waiting outside. God. I was talking to one of my high school best friends who's Vietnamese. And like, the Viet community has unfortunately been very absorbed into the whole MAGA thing. And she told me that her family was on a road trip, and for 6 hours straight, her dad was listening to Charlie Kirk Memorial coverage in Vietnamese out in the car. And like they had to listen to it for the whole 6 hours because he was the one who was driving. So he was controlling like what they listened to. And I'm like, she texted me, she's like, I'm about to blow my brains out. I'm like, yeah, that's like not cool.